Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahshai, Bashiru, Kadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who will teach our sound doctrine, and peace and blessings to your elect. Now, as you can see, I just got this article here that's basically going into a different situation with not Russia this time, China and the US. And this guy's supposed to be the foreign ministry, as it's highlighted here in the caption. The foreign ministry spokesman, uh, Shao Li Jing or Lian. I'm guessing. It's like if I said that wrong. Not sure how to pronounce that. To be fair, Beijing has pledged to defend Chinese companies and individual trading with Russia against America's wishes, and more, and Russia and China, Magog and Magog, along with more, they've been close, man. You know, these guys, have been like, what's that word? I would go with a thorn in America's side because they're like, in the open, although they under the table they may do trade deals or whatnot to benefit both parties, but they don't see it to be for a team, so to speak. Salakia. China will protect its companies and people who have come under threat of U.S. sanctions over trading with Russia. A, spo- a spokesman, a spokesman for the Chinese Foreign Ministry, said on Wednesday, commenting on Washington's warnings. Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao, I'm going with Leon this time. Li, well, actually, maybe Li Jin, Li Jin, Li Jian, Li Jian, said Beijing will take all necessary measures. Will take all necessary measures to resolute, res, resolutely safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of Chinese enterprises and individuals. The Chinese official reiterated his government's criticisms and and unilateral unilateral sanctions. Said, let's look up this word unilateral. Oh, can we straight define it? Unilateral of an action or a decision performed by or affecting only one person, group, or country involved in a situation without the agreement of the other country. So it seems like what's happened. This is a sanction that one country has made, or by way of speaking to by speaking to some other countries, without the other countries getting the point of view of the other party that's involved. It seems like. Hold on. Okay, let's go. China. Okay, here it is. Unilateral sanctions, saying that they have no basis in international law and only cause serious difficulties to the economies and people's livelihoods. So they're trying to come up with a logical point, saying, hold on, this thing that you've done behind, say for example, Russia's back, without Russia's point of view being told, you've it's not only they're trying to make out, they're saying that it's not only unjustified, but it's hurting people, it's hurting a lot of people within the economy that you know that just trying to get by, so to speak. saying they have no basis in international law and only cause serious difficulties to the economy and people's livelihoods in targeted nations instead of fostering peace and security. Washington should take China's concerns seriously when implementing its restrictions against Russia so they don't harm China's rights and interests in any way. Zhao warned. The US imposed a ban on exports of advanced semiconductors to Russia in response to Moscow's military attack against Ukraine. The ban targets not only American companies but also foreign firms which use American software. So, they're doing what we call over here in the UK. They're doing tit for tat, which is basically saying, say for example, all right, you know, I beg you to wash the dishes for me, you know, that evening, and you're saying that you can't wash it for me. I'm like, okay, everything's cool, it's all good, but when you want me to wash the dishes for you, don't expect me to do them. And technologies in production, nations like South Korea, which want to continue their exports to Russia, have to apply for special exemptions or face Washington's wrath. So it's like, so you have to imagine. So you got two sides, you know, and it's like, if you go over there and you come back to us, listen, your grass, man. You're out of grass or you getting touched. But if you're over there, stay over there. If you're over here, stay over here, man. You know, it's like the saying goes, yeah, the widows are against us. We can't, how you mean to tell me that you're benefiting off both sides? So you're benefit, on what Russia's good at, some technology that Russia has that you're benefiting it, you're kind of leeching off us as well. No, that can't go that way. That can't go that way, man. Your interview with New York Times U.S. coverage, basically going to Gina Raimondo warned the government could easily shut down any Chinese company that defies American sanctions. The secretary singled out China's semiconductors manufacturing international corporation as facing potential punishment for flaunting its Russian ban. Unlike U.S. allies in Europe and elsewhere, China has refused to condemn Russia for its attack against Ukraine. Beijing agreed with Moscow's assessment that NATO's unchecked expansion in Eastern Europe and the failure to address Russia's national security concerns paved the way to the current crisis. So I'm gonna get some. Let me see if I get some presets. Uh, Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I got Jeremiah 51 here. So like we were saying earlier, you know, it doesn't really, you can't be ignorant to what's going on because yeah, it may seem like something small, but guess what? You have a dominoes, you line up say 300 dominoes, and the dominoes topples over a little piece, and that domino in front of it topples over a little piece, and that one in front and so forth, and etc. etc. Just like all these prophecies are coming together. You know, okay, so this thing is moving. Okay, this thing affects this thing. Okay, this thing affects this thing, and suddenly everything's rolling. And then you say, oh wait, wasn't but I thought it was just only that moving. But you shouldn't have been thinking like that. You should have been thinking in a sense where, okay, I want to prepare for, say everything does, everything, you should be in the mindset, and it's, the law could return at any moment. And that should be what motivates you to stay right. This is Jeremiah 51 and 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and lifted up even to skies. And let me go to, because even in Isaiah, uh, I believe it's the fifth. I believe it's the fifth chapter. It talks about them bows, man, and those bows are talking about those nuclear missiles, because you check it, those what like those I should say those intercontinental ballistic missiles. Like it's hard to say because I got a black nose, man. you know, um, but yeah, those can move. They move in a type. They move at an angle, just like you shoot. You're trying to aim something. You're trying to use a bow to shoot something. You have to aim it at a particular angle so that it goes in the right direction. It's the same way these missiles move off. Like, you know if they were to move, if they were at, say, a perfect vertical angle, that there's something called gravity. Like, they could have shot up all they wanted to, but they wouldn't have really gone anywhere. But when they're at an angle, they're being propelled into the right direction, because they're not just going up, they're going up, and they're going horizontally as well. Uh, but sorry, going on. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country, for a judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up into the skies. And people are not even really taking this into account. Look how much wickedness this place has done. Look how many countries are having their eye on them. You have China talking up against them. You have Russia got some quote unquote bad blood against them. So things are really heating up, man. And Russia's been making a lot of noise. Russia got a big role to play. What is this? The Lord, Jeremiah 51:10. The Lord has brought, it's like it's just them algorithms, the algorithms on those apps. Jeremiah 51:10. The Lord has brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord, our power. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord had raised up the spirit of kings of the Medes. And although when you go into the Medio, and although when you go back to Medio Persia, if I'm not mistaken, that was an empire ruled by I believe that was an empire ruled by Elam. May had some Ishmael up in there as well, but I believe it was Elam, because you're checking out King Xerxes as well. The Medo Persia, if I'm not mistaken, that was ruled by me and the Elamites. But in this sense, the Medes also be applied to Russia, because hold on, let me get a preset. Yeah, I was just going over this I just brother sent me this precept not too long ago, not today, but I believe it was this week. You knows who he is. But this is Isaiah 13, 13 and 17, and this is why I said, you know, yeah, if we go back to the Medo Persia, we know who they are, one of the four beasts. Daniel, in the time of Daniel, but it can also be applied to Russia, because we know, you can apply things that happen, you know, also, in the past historically, on a prophetic level. I'm gonna read this precept, Isaiah 13 and 17. Like I said, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for their gold, they shall not delight in it. And this is, referring to, say, Babylon. They want to try and quote unquote bribe, Russia. Russia's not really gonna be having any of it, because the Lord is gonna have that evil thought into their head, where it's gonna be like Russia is just, you know, like a mercenary or an android, or something to that, or a bounty killer, just on a mission. And he's like, yo, I don't want any of your money. You can't pay me. You can't give me anything more than the person who has set me out to do this task. Because we gotta remember, when that evil thought goes into the mind of Russia, you know, it's gonna be, they're gonna really try. They really gonna try to hear it, because I can't say for certain what's their thought gonna be exactly, but you have to take into account. They're gonna be like, yo, are we really gonna take this coach's bribery, take this coach's bribery, man? I'm like, you know, we could just overthrow this country and just take their riches. They'll think about it like that. They're just like, we're not interested. You know, we don't want to make friends with you. We ain't trying to hear you. You did all this wicked, you did all these things to all these little countries. So hey, it's your turn now. Their bows shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruits of the womb. And that's referring to the pregnant ladies. So, like, a man may sometimes call his son the fruit of his loins. So, the fruit of the womb, that's referring to the child that is in the belly of the pregnant woman. And this is even Jacob's trouble. Got this point into perspective, brothers, man, because you know babies being ripped out, babies being ripped out is not something unheard of. Babies being, a child being eaten is not something unheard of, and it's gonna be a lot worse. It's gonna be worse than that, man. So you have to prepare your mind. So like where I'm up to, their eyes shall not spare the children. So they're not gonna be like, oh, he's of a certain age, so he shouldn't be a part of this, or he shouldn't have to witness this, or nah, we're gonna let him go because children are children. Nah, they ain't really gonna be trying to hear all that. It's like, oh, you're here, you wanna help your mother. They're gonna be, they'll probably make the mother watch where they crack in the skull. So it's gonna be a serious time. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans, excellency shall be overthrown, as when, Yahweh Shim Yahushai overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And how did the Lord overthrow Sodom and Gomorrah with fire and brimstone? And that's kind of similar to how these missiles are just gonna rain down fire. It's just gonna be like those arches, those bows, or whatever you wanna call them, that were blotting out the sun in the movie 300, which that was accurate. They had so many arrows that it literally did blot out the sun. And everybody was reading up on it. But anyway, let me go. Let me get back to the main text. And let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord. Our power. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes for the devices against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. So set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepared the ambush, for the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. So the Lord is saying, yeah, listen, all these terrible things are going to happen to Babylon. So all these people say, oh, the Lord wouldn't do this, the Lord wouldn't do that. How can you say how can you put the Most High in a box, man? The scripture plainly says the Most High, he does, he's in control of everything. Shall there be a trumpet, sound, in a city, and the people not be afraid, or shall they be evil and the law have not done it? No, the law is in control of everything. When you say you have a family member that died, the Lord had to sign off on that. And it's funny because they say the law is all powerful, but hold on. If you're saying that the law is all powerful, yeah, which we agree on that, then you're saying, oh, Satan killed them. But hold on, if the law is all powerful, then he would have stopped that. Then it's obvious that the Lord must have had to sign off on it. If he's all powerful, which is in the scriptures, man. Uh, I would probably close it on this, or I might go to Revelation uh, 13. Or thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundantly treasures, thine end is come, and thy measure of thy covenant, of thy covetousness. We just get that last precept in 1 hour, because you got to put it in perspective. In 1 hour, after they took all that time for them to build up their what they call their marvelous kingdom, which ain't gonna be nothing like our kingdom, and our kingdom gonna be the bomb. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, to build their king, they took all that time for them to build up their kingdom, for it to be destroyed in 1 hour. To be destroyed, not only to be destroyed, but to be rendered uninhabitable. You have to really put that into perspective, man. You imagine, 10 years, 100 years to the kingdom, they telling stories about this. They were like, yo, these people, don't mess with these people, because you see what their, what their God did to that city that everyone thought was invincible in 1 hour. Hold on. Thinking of which one to go with. But there's no point pausing it, to be fair, but I just think of which one to go with. For 1 hour, so good. And this Revelation 18 and 10. Let me just, start here. I may read one of the other verses. Standing afar off, for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for 1 hour is thy judgment come. And you gotta take it to like a 1 hour. Because Russia, that great bear is gonna have all these little nations under its wings, and it's just gonna more gonna be playing a big part, and it's just gonna be playtime, so to speak. Because I remember Moab, I believe they had a missile that went around and it managed to get past. I believe it was the U.S. defense, but it didn't fire. But I can't remember what happened off the top of my head. But they had a missile that I think that kind of got through their defense or something like that. But I can't remember how it went. I remember I saw a glimpse of it on an article or something. But I know that they worked on some kind of missile. Can't remember how long ago it was. But it just seemed like, they had some time to improve, because these guys, they're spending money on, they're spending resources just training soldiers and whatnot, doing everything in the dark. So when you do things in the dark, you have the element of surprise. The element of surprise is something that's powerful, man. Okay, so I'll read 17 and just close it out, because I feel like I got the point already, but I'll just read 17. For one, if I can read Revelation 7, 18 and 17. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in the ships and sailors and as many as traded by sea stood afar off, and cried when they seen the smoke of it burning, and saying, What city is this like? Is like unto this great city? So they're like, they can't believe what they're seeing. They're like, oh, we made some money with this, but you know, I guess it went up in smoke, so to speak. And they cast dust on their heads, crying out, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city wherein we're made rich, or that had ships in the sea for reason of our costliness. And that's referring to, the nations that made rich, the nations that may have been made rich via trade with them. The nation, well, we already talked. I was gonna mention the ships could also be referring to, the imports and the exports and whatnot. And I see for a reason of our costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate, like we just said. And in closing, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Shemi Shai, the water Yahweh Shemi Shai, for giving me the spirit to this lesson. I pray this lesson was edifying and exhorting to you, you brothers and sisters that were tuning in and watching. In closing, I want to say Shalom.